Welcome, wrestling fans. Welcome to Curtain Jerkin. As always, I'm your host, Jacob Grondy, reporting for the Main Event Marks YouTube channel and my very own Spotify account. Check me out on Apple Music as well. This is the unprecedented third episode in 1 week for Curtain Jerkin. It's Wrestlemania week, baby. We're covering it all, including All Access, AEW All Access. I watched the show. It reminded me of WWE 24. Did play into the backstage drama a little bit. I can see that biting them in the ass. They just can't help themselves here. The worst press they ever got was because of this backstage drama shit. And here it is, WrestleMania weekend, the biggest weekend for their competitor, and they debut a show that's kind of playing into the backstage drama. Like I said before, I can see this biting them in the ass, especially since that's something that AEW has had a hard time getting away from. I know a lot of people are going to, not like them pulling the curtain back as much as they are, especially right after Dynamite. I do think that that's a good marketing strategy. I know that my girlfriend watches the show Euphoria on HBO, and then right afterwards, there's like a little making of each episode. And I know Euphoria is probably more popular than AEW, and I know that it's definitely more popular with a younger audience than AEW. So if they're looking for younger fans, this is the way to do it. It's kind of, if you're flipping through the channels, you watch that, awesome Adam Cole main event with Daniel Garcia, and then right afterwards you see kind of a behind the scenes, a making of. I think you're going to watch it. You're going to be more intrigued. And, like we've seen with Total Divas, there's a certain demographic of people that like reality shows more than pro wrestling, but through reality shows will like pro wrestling. I remember when Total Divas came out, you saw a difference in the crowd. You saw a lot of, women who watched E start coming to WWE Raw. So maybe we'll see a lot of people who are only a fan of AEW All Access coming to Dynamite, coming to Rampage. I mean, some nights we've seen it. The haters have documented some nights they need a few extra fans in the building. The first episode was okay. I will hold off on too much judgment and watch the rest of the series. I do worry about the repercussions of the show. I mean, there was a reality show featuring wrestlers in Japan, and people bullied these ladies, bullied Hana Kimura to the point where she committed suicide. And there's certain people, who might not come across as good as they think they come across on this show, especially for people who are looking to blame them for things. So I do worry a little bit about that as well. A lot of these people, they can't really say things like, don't worry about who we are behind the scenes anymore. Don't worry about the backstage drama. They're inviting that backstage drama, onto our screen and into our minds, and thus we're going to have opinions on it. So I know wrestlers like Ethan Page, whenever all that CM Punk and Elite stuff was happening, they said, why do you guys care about what's happening backstage? And people say real fans don't care about what's happening backstage, just what's happening in the ring. Well, now they want us fans to care about what's happening backstage right here. They play it out. Of course, I compared this to WWE 24. I just watched the WrestleMania 38 WWE 24 as well, and they didn't hint on any fucking backstage drama or politics. They focused on the feel-good stories of having these people live their dreams. And don't get me wrong, there was a little bit of that with Adam Cole and everything, but, Britt Baker openly discussing her not liking that Thunder Rosa was champion in a non-kayfabe sense, and the Young Bucks hinting at their suspension, but not really talking about why they were suspended. I think that's going to bite them in the ass down the line here. No Kaito Kiyomiya with Muta in the Hall of Fame. I know I've been joking around about that, but I just found out that he actually didn't make the trip. So he offered, but then Muta turned him down, which is worse if you're Kaito Kiyomiya. But I feel like if you're a fan of Noah, that's better because you don't have the visual of your former champion, your new up-and-coming star, being a butler for this older legend. You can take it or leave it. Jay White, though, making rumors. The rumor mill is flying with Jay White. He left New Japan earlier this year. He has yet to be seen on AEW. He's wrestled in AEW before, has wrestled on Impact during the pandemic. So people are jumping to the idea that he's going to show up in WWE. It kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, we also have the Raw after WrestleMania. That would be a big debut for someone like Jay White to come out on WWE. I feel like he's got the mic skills for WWE. He already has like makeshift feuds and matches with guys like AJ Styles and Finn Balor, and I think those three guys can tear the roof off the place. And of course, the money is bigger in WWE than AEW, and there's not as many, wrestlers. So I think it's a no-brainer for him to sign to the WWE. He does live in Florida, apparently on a farm in Florida, from New Zealand, made his name in Japan, made his name all over the world, and now lives in Florida, where conveniently right there with the Performance Center. So I think if I'm having to call it, if I'm having to predict, the former IWGP champion Jay White is going to WWE. Someone who's probably not going to go to WWE anytime soon, Kota Ibushi. Apparently he was injured. He's wrestling injured this whole weekend. He's going to push through it. He said, "I understand a lot, but this is a comeback match. Why do I only feel like I am being disrespected so badly? I wonder who I injured. I wonder who I injured my shoulder again at the MMA gym. Well, the second day is also suspicious, but I will do my best not to break and show the power of the Japanese." So obviously there's a little bit of English as a second language here. The quote is all over the place, but he does say that he's slightly injured because of him training in an MMA gym in Los Angeles the weekend of WrestleMania, the weekend of his big comeback. You can tell he's a little frustrated here, but you can also tell he's kind of a thoughtful guy, trying to, not necessarily exactly just blatantly call someone out, but kind of hint at, and then also suggest that there's maybe an alternative motive into why he would be injured. This is crazy. This is crazy talk, I would say, from what I can make out. But you can tell he's pushing through. He's taken on Mike Bailey at Bloodsport, or he took on Mike Bailey at Bloodsport. He's taken on Joey Janela at Spring Break. Speaking of Bloodsport, a wrestling show designed to showcase the martial arts, the MMA aspect of pro wrestling, the most influenced by MMA pro wrestling can be. No ropes, a lot of mat-based wrestling here. Josh Barnett's brainchild. I honestly don't enjoy this style as much as just regular pro wrestling, but once or twice a year, it's interesting enough of a concept that I can get behind it. I can watch it. I can find out what I enjoy about it. Definitely interesting enough to see Kota Ibushi's wrestling return against Mike Bailey. Kota, first match back since the G1 final in 2021. Bailey tries to get the upper hand. In doing so, Kota spills to the floor. Double knees from Bailey. Still can't get the upper hand on Ibushi. He tries to go to the floor to regroup, but Kota Ibushi deadlifts, suplexes him back into the ring. Headbutt by Bailey. Regalplex. Regalplex. V-trigger by Kota Ibushi. Knocks Bailey out, and that's when they called the match. Kota Ibushi wins his first match back at Bloodsport in Los Angeles, WrestleMania weekend. I would say that's the big story of the day as far as what I noticed at WrestleMania weekend in LA. The Bloodsport also featured Jon Moxley versus Alex Coughlin. Moxley is probably the biggest star at any show outside of WrestleMania this weekend in LA, but I do think this match, he was kind of shown up by New Japan's strong standout Alex Coughlin, getting deadlifted over and over again, getting power bombed over and over again, but Moxley did get the victory. The show also featured guys like Timothy Thatcher, John Morrison, or should I say Johnny Bloodsport, and of course Josh Barnett. Chavo Guerrero was there. Lots of luminaries. Davey Boy Smith Jr. I feel like the story of the weekend, of the first day of WrestleMania weekend, of that Thursday, was definitely Kota Ibushi's return. But the show of the weekend was New Japan meeting Impact Wrestling Multiverse United, whatever they decide to call it. Pretty much, they can't say Forbidden Door, but it was pretty much a Forbidden Door show. Globe Theater, WrestleCon, the big fight feel was there, and we have every single match ranked from worst to first. All 8 matches. Kicking off with the X Division Scramble. The first match on the show was the worst match on the show. It was an okay match. It was fun, but it was short. Rich Swann versus Kevin Knight versus Frankie Kazarian versus Clark Connors versus Rocky Romero versus Trey Miguel. Lots of action here to wake up the crowd. The spot that had me rolling my eyes, though, Trey Miguel powerbombing 3 men who also were superplexing another man. I mean, Trey Miguel, known for his aerial acrobatics, but I didn't know his feats of strength as well. Rich Swann comes off the top with a frog splash. 1, 2, no. Trey Miguel ends up retaining on that one. Number 7, the Knockouts 4-way match. Deonna Purrazzo versus Masha Slamovich versus Miyu Yamashita versus Giselle Shaw. Miyu Yamashita is a Tokyo Joshi Pro standout. She also wrestles a lot in DDT. You forget how good Deonna Purrazzo is. At least I do. She's great. This was like the X Division Scramble, but I enjoyed it a little more for some reason. Queen's Gambit 1, 2, 3. Deonna Purrazzo gets the victory. Impact Wrestling honestly has the best women's division in North America today. Number 6, the 8-man tag. Eddie Edwards teaming with Tom Lawler, Kratos, and Joe Henry versus Sami Callihan, Fred Rosser, and Alex Coughlin. Alex Coughlin, second match of the evening. Also PCO on their team. No love lost between Eddie and Sami. No love lost between Rosser and Lawler. Lots of rivalries, lots of feats of strength here. Great pro wrestling action. Callahan grabs Henry's dick at one point. That popped the crowd. PCO wins with a PCO salt. Fun match, just like the other two. Fun match, but, kind of ranked toward the bottom. Once we started getting into these single matches, they were standing out a little bit more. Speaking of the singles match, at number 5, Jeff Cobb making his second appearance this weekend. He wrestled in AEW Dynamite against Kenny Omega, and here he is wrestling against Moose at the WrestleMania weekend. So this guy is just, not only in LA, but he's just killing it all over America this week. Moose a lot bigger than Cobb. Cobb deadlift suplexes Moose into the ring. Moose flying around, agile for a big man. Cobb hits the Tour of the Islands. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Cobb gets the victory. At number 4, you got the tag 4-way Bullet Club versus Aussie Open versus TMDK, the Mighty Don't Kneel versus Motor City Machine Guns. Aussie Open, no strangers to the global theater, standouts in PWG the last few years. Ace Austin and Chris Bay, the forgotten members of Bullet Club, but killing it at Impact. Motor City Machine Guns should be recognized for coming up with a lot of the stuff we see week to week on AEW television. It's just really good mix of guys here. Pile Driver 1, 2, Bay kicks out. F5 from Bad Dude Tito. 1, 2, Chris Bay kicks out again. And somehow after all that, Chris Bay gets the win. 1, 2, 3, retaining the Impact titles here at WrestleMania weekend. Number 3 out of 8, Kenta versus Suzuki. Suzuki in control on the outside. Kenta going after the eyes of Suzuki, then going into a figure 4. Suzuki gets to the rope, strike battle, double stomp off the top. 1, 2, Suzuki kicks out. GTS countered into a sleeper. You could tell Kenta's getting frustrated because when the ref's back was turned, he hits a low blow, uses the ropes as leverage, plants his feet on them. 1, 2, 3. Kenta wins in true asshole fashion. Number 2 out of 8. Kushida versus Lio Rush. This match was really good. I'm debating with my own brain to put it at number 1, but I'm going to, for the sake of the show, I'm keeping it at number 2. Kushida going after the arm. Leo getting room, dives. 1-2. Kushida kicks out. Kushida locks in the hoverboard lock. Leo breaks free. 1-2. Rush kicks out. Poison Rana by Leo Rush. Springboard stunner. 1-2. Kushida kicks out or grabs the rope to break up the pin. As I burp into the mic here, it's WrestleMania weekend. I'm burping. I had a liquid death while watching this show. Leo off the top. Kushida catches him in a hoverboard lock. And that's how he taps Leo Rush out. I really like this match a lot. Go out of your way to see it. Go out of your way to see Mike Bailey's second match of the evening as well, going up against Tanahashi. 2 former IWGP champions in one night for Mike Bailey. Tanahashi going after the leg. Standing shooting star from Bailey. 1-2 Tanahashi kicks out. Senton. 1-2 Bailey kicks out. Moonsault knees. 1-2 Tanahashi kicks out of that. Sling blade. Hurricane Rana off the top from Mike Bailey, stopping the high fly flow. Shooting star knees, no one home. Sling blade high fly flow connects. 1, 2, 3. The current GOAT of WrestleMania weekend couldn't beat the actual GOAT on WrestleMania weekend. You gotta love it. I mean, Alex Coughlin stand out on this night. Jeff Cobb, I mean, you know, taking into consideration his match with Kenny Omega is great. Mike Bailey, of course, is great. A lot of these wrestlers, this is the biggest weekend of the year for them, and they're not even signed to the WWE. You gotta fucking love pro wrestling. I know I do. Fly high. I'm out.